Hi guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers. Hey, today I want to give you some real quick tips on how to travel to and in Italy. There's a lot of little hacks that I think you're going to find really useful. So I'm going to go through them pretty quick because there's a lot of them, but you're going to be glad you know about them. Okay, the first thing is that everyone here uses WhatsApp, so I would download that app. And the reason for that is it goes through the internet, and so it's free. A lot of times here, if you call somebody on the phone or text them with a text, they're going to incur a charge from an American phone, and many times they won't pick up the phone to an American number. However, when you use WhatsApp, everybody's pretty good about picking up and responding, so I would do that right away. The second is, before you go, become familiar with the geographical area that you're going to be visiting. Get a map out, look where the streets are, see how they're laid out. And wherever your accommodations are, make sure you know where they are on the map and how to get around. There's also metro maps that you can go ahead and download if you're in Rome or in Naples, in one of the places with a metro, and those are really helpful as well. Next, it is really important to find out what areas you may not want to be in alone or after dark. In some of the bigger cities, it's more of a concern, but you definitely want to know so you don't accidentally find yourself in one of those places. You can find out from your hotel or your accommodations. I'm sure they'll let you know. Another important thing is find out when the buses and metros stop running, because it might be that you're attending a late concert or something, you'll need a taxi. Make sure you get a number to call a taxi. You don't want to be out there trying to flag one down. The hotels usually have a good number you can call, and the taxi drivers are usually pretty good about responding. Another very important detail is find out about any transport strikes. There is a website, and if there's any transport strikes, they have to register them beforehand, and they will be posted on this site so that you know. Another super important thing is make sure that your phone carrier provides internet access internationally, and make sure it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. The last thing you want to do is come over here and find out that it costs you tons of money to use the internet, because the internet is very useful here. Which brings me to my next 2 points, which is get to know Google Maps and Google Translate. You're going to need both of those, and they do require internet access. So if you get your internet set up and you get Google Translate and Google Maps if you're driving, you're going to be in pretty good shape. Now, Google Maps isn't always reliable in the areas where there's little villas and tiny little country roads and things like that, but most of the cities and towns, they'll get you where you want to go. Another super important item is locate the nearest hospital and understand what emergency numbers you need to call if there is an emergency. Now, in the case of a general emergency, you want to call 112. In the case of a medical emergency, you want to call 118. Make sure you understand how to say your address or where you are in Italian, because you don't want to be fumbling with Google Translate in case of an emergency. Also, many times if there is an emergency, a bystander can help you make the call. Another really important point is make sure your accommodations are right for you. Make sure if you have mobility issues that there's a lift. They don't all have lifts. Make sure you're not going to go up 100 stairs in order to get to your accommodations if you have knee or back or whatever problems. This is so important, and it's something that a lot of people don't think about till they get there, and it's a very rude shock and surprise, and they have to find other accommodations very quickly, which can be very stressful. So most of the Airbnbs have that information. The hotels have that information. You can always call the hotels. Many times they have people who speak English, and you can find out. This includes things like location, if you want to be close to the attractions, whether it has a lift, whether it has AC, whether it has internet, and whether it has a washer or dryer or laundry facilities. If you travel by taxi around the cities, get your hotel's card so you don't forget where it is and what the name of it is, which can be easy if you have many hotels and many stops on your trip. Now, many hotels and many cafes will call you a taxi. However, you can't count on that. So make sure you have your arrangements. And a lot of times, like I said, at the hotel, you can get a card with the taxi's number on it. Don't forget to get an international driver's license if you're going to be driving. You can get them at AAA. They're about $20, and they basically state that your normal driver's license that you have is valid, and it will be valid in Italy or internationally for the period of 1 year. The thing is, make sure you take sunscreen and bug spray. This, for some reason, has been a year for bugs. Usually I don't get too many bug bites, but this year has been kind of nasty, and I've had trouble. So I have bug spray with me wherever I go. And sunscreen. The sun can be hot, especially down in southern Italy, but really all over Italy. It's a sunny region, and you're going to want to protect yourself. Make sure you have a hat. Make sure you have good sunglasses. and just take the normal precautions you would take if you don't know what the weather's going to be like. And one final point I want to make sure you pack your medications in your carry-on, because if you lose your luggage, it could be days before you get it back, especially if you have things like diabetic supplies or anything like that, or even simple medications, thyroid or whatever. It may take a while for the pharmacist to figure out what you need and whether or not he can supply it to you. So if they're in your carry-on, they go with you everywhere and you'll always have them. So I hope this helps. We're looking forward to seeing you here in Italy.